We're just getting ready for today's Active Seniors exercise class, which will be starting shortly. Today's exercise session is a combination class. You'll need a chair, a wall, and a hand weight or a can. All of the exercises in today's session should be comfortable for you to do both during and afterwards. If you do experience any pain or if you're uncomfortable at any point in time, please make sure to stop. Take the exercises at your own pace and make sure that if you need to take a break, you do. All right, let's get started. Good morning and thanks for joining us for our Monday exercise session. Today's class is going to be a combination class. We're going to be doing some balance exercises, we're going to be doing a strengthening exercise, and we're also going to add in an aerobic component into it as well. So we've got 3 different combinations to go through. In each of the combinations, we're going to start with a balance exercise, move into a strengthening exercise, and then finish with an aerobic exercise for 40 seconds. So for any of the exercises, if they do cause you any pain or any discomfort, as always, please make sure to stop. If you feel like you need to take a rest break sooner than what we've allocated, then do that as well, just to make sure that you're safe. And of course, with balance exercises especially, making sure that you've got a chair, that you've got a wall behind you, or a safe place to actually do the balance exercises. We've got a few different things that we're going to be working on, and I'll show you a couple of different variations to make them a little bit easier and a little bit harder. So without further ado, let's get straight into the session today. We're actually not going to do a warm-up because we're going to get straight into our balance exercise. Now for the first balance exercise, we're going to be doing a head movement with a static balance position hold. What you'll need to do is choose a position that you feel is appropriate for you. So the easiest position is to have the feet either close to side by side or directly side by side while you're doing the movement, but making sure that you've got that support around you. And if you find that that's too easy while we're doing the movement, then you can move into more of a tandem stand position, heel to toe, or even slightly offset. And I'd recommend just doing those. I wouldn't recommend for this one standing on the one leg. Okay, so choose whichever position you feel is right for your level. You want to be able to stay in that position quite easily without too much difficulty, because we are going to add in an arm and a head movement. So I'm going to choose to be in that tandem stand position like so, feet lined up, and making sure that the feet are straight ahead, because often when people are doing tandem exercises, they tend to turn the feet out to give themselves a bit of a wider base of support and make it a little bit easier, but that defeats the purpose of being in that position. Okay, so even if it means that you need to have a slight gap between the two, but both of the feet are pointing forward, doing that instead. So in this position here, we're going to bring our arm out in front. We're going to follow our thumb nice and slowly to the side, and then back to the middle. Okay, and then we're going to do the same to the other side. So we're going to do 4. And you will notice a little bit of wobble as you're doing this. So it's really important that with the hand that you're not using, you've got something like a chair, or even that you're standing next to the wall so that you can hold on to that. So we're going to do another 1 to each side, and then we'll change the position of our feet. Okay, so coming out to this side and coming back to the middle. All right, swapping the position of the feet and repeating the same thing. So coming to the side, and nice and slowly with this one. Distracting your vision certainly makes balancing much more challenging, so just be safe with it. Good, and 1 more to each side. Okay, concentrating hard. You can definitely see a few wobbles from me, so make sure if you need to, you adjust your foot position to make sure that you're safe, but you're still getting a challenge. And a bit of wobble tells you that you're at a good level of challenge. So our strengthening exercise for the first lot is going to be an arm strengthening exercise. We're going to use the chair and just 1 can or a light weight. You're going to be leaning forward, supporting your weight onto the chair, and when you get into this position, trying to pull the chest away and the shoulders away from the chair without rounding the back. We're going to pull the can or the weight to your ribs and then straighten the arm out and then come back to the starting position. So we're going to be doing 6 of those on each side. Okay, so off we go. Nice and slow and controlled. As you bring the arm out to the side, you'll probably notice that's the more challenging part of the movement. Bringing it up to the side shouldn't be too difficult. And if you're finding it too challenging to straighten the arm all the way, just a small movement is fine. 2 more. And last one. Good, we're going to swap to the other side now, so I'll change position, but realistically you should be able to do that a little bit easier. Okay, making sure our posture's right, pulling to the ribs, pushing out to the side. Making sure that we're continuing to breathe, and then we're trying to keep the rest of our body nice and still. Good, 2 more. And last one. Good. You can put your can or your weight down. We're going to be finishing our trio of exercises with a cardio exercise. We're going to be doing some chair stands, and at the top of the movement when we're standing, we're going to march one leg either side up into a high knee position. If you're not comfortable or confident doing that from a balance perspective, just doing the sit to stands. But ready, set, go. So doing as many as we can for that 40 seconds. Here we're trying to get our heart rate and our breathing up. So the faster we do the movement, the more it's going to achieve that. We're only 15 or 20 seconds in, so just make sure to pace yourself. I've purposely chosen this because it does involve a lot of large muscle group, and so it will get that heart rate and that breathing up. We've got about another 5 seconds. And good. All right, we're going to repeat those three exercises before we move on to our next combination. So we're going to start with our balance. All right, so making sure getting yourself into that safe position, moving the chair into the right position if you need, and starting with our heel to toe stand and following the hand. Okay, remember, choose a position that's safe for you. So you might want to have the feet a little bit staggered. And you might find that one side's a little bit easier to go to than the other, which is quite natural, especially depending on the activities that you've been involved in throughout life. Good, we're going to swap our position of our feet. So we've got the opposite foot forward, and we're repeating the balance movement again. Good, one more time each side, nice and controlled. And last side. Good. Okay, going on to that weighted exercise again. I'm going to start with my right arm just because it's a little bit easier. I've got the weight on this side. Okay, so back position, hand on the chair. You can either have a fist or you can have your hand flat, depending on what you prefer. The fist will make you a little bit further away from the chair, so it'll give you a little bit less room to bend. So pulling up to the ribs, out to the side, and back down. We're doing 6 of these on each side. And it's a nice controlled movement. Good, last one. Good. Swapping to the other side. So changing your foot position, getting your back position right, pulling to the side of the ribs and then out to the side. Good, 3 to go. 1, 2, and last one, 3. Good. We can put the weight down and we're going back into those chair stands with the marching at the end. So getting yourself into position and ready to go. We'll get started in about 3 seconds, 2, 1, up, marching one side at a time. Trying to make sure that you're alternating as well, the sides. Good. Remember, going as fast as you can manage. If the legs get tired, then just concentrate on the chair standing or the marching, whichever you find is easier on the legs. Last one. Okay, good. That's our first combination done. We've got another 2 to go. So for the next exercise, I'm going to give you 2 options depending on how confident you feel with your balance. So the easier of the 2 options, and it's ideal to make sure you've got chair on one side, wall on the other, is we're going to be taking a step to the side, and if you can, lifting the leg up. If not, just taking a step to the side and trying to have the feet fairly narrow in the end position. Okay? If you want a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to step to the side and we're going to go up onto the toe and back down. Okay, so only if you feel you can, but otherwise the stepping to the side, either with the leg up in the air at the end, or alternatively just bringing the feet nice and close together, is perfectly fine to do instead. We're going to be doing 10 in total. We're going to be going 5 times in each direction, alternating. Okay, so we're going to start on this side here. Make sure that you've got better balance support than I do. I won't face the wall or have the wall on one side because then you'll miss a lot of the movement. So to the side, up onto the toe and back down if you're doing the same as I am. Okay. Good. Remember, a little bit of wobble is good. And we've got 1 more on each side after this. Okay. Last one. Good. Now our strengthening exercise is going to be focused on the legs this time because we're going to use the arms for the aerobic component. So we're going to be doing some lunges. Make sure you're next to the wall. And if you can't do the lunges, what I'd ask you to do instead are some wall squats and just holding for a few seconds and then back up. But hopefully you'll be able to find some amount of lunge that you can tolerate. You don't have to go all the way down to the ground. You can go as far as you're comfortable, but making sure that you're keeping the body up nice and tall, bending both knees so that the shin ends up being close to vertical. And we're doing 8 on each side. So you want to make sure you step forward enough so that that back leg is in the air. Good. And 1 more. Good. Swapping the position of the legs. And we're doing 8 on the other side. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 more, 8. Good. We're going to use the arms now for our cardio. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to do jab, jab, punch. And we're going to do that for 40 seconds. So arms at the ready, we're going to change halfway through, but off we go. Now the faster you do this, as before, the more that heart rate will get up, which is the goal of this exercise, okay? We've got another 10 seconds, and then we'll swap to the other arm. Good, almost there, one more punch. Then I want you to change your feet and continue punching for that next 20 seconds. Good. We've got 10 seconds to go. Good, last one. Great. All right, we're going to go back through those exercises again. And at the end of these 3, I'll give you a short opportunity to have a drink if you need before we move into our final set. We're going to start with those side steps. So remember the different variations. If you want to follow along with me, I'm doing the more advanced variation of stepping to the side and then into a calf raise. The easier alternative from that, or the step down from that, is to step to the side and just concentrate on balancing on the one leg. And then the easier variation from that is stepping to the side and just finishing with the feet close together, like so. Make sure you've got that balance support nearby. So as I said earlier, ideally I'd be doing this with a wall on one side and a chair on the other, or 2 chairs either side and the wall behind me. All right, so let's get into that first, or the second round, I should say. We're going to be doing 10 of these, so 5 to each direction. This is number 4, and you just choose what you feel is right for your level. Remember, we're doing this one for balance, so we want to try, if we can, not to hold on too much. Okay. Good, one more to each side. Good. We're going into our lunges now. So we're going to step forward so that that back heel comes up, as I mentioned before. We're going to keep those hips nice and level. We're going to keep the trunk upright and just bending to where you can. We're doing 8 of these before we swap to the other side. Now, most of the time when you're doing the lunges, the trunk will want to lean forward, but try and fight against it. Keep it up nice and tall. Good. Swapping to the other leg. Up nice and tall. Bending both knees. Five. 6, 7, one more, 8. Good. All right, we're going to go back into the punching. I'm going to start with the opposite position now, and we're going to be doing that 40 seconds, remembering going as fast as you can. So off we go. 2 jabs and a punch. And I'll tell you when we're swapping, and you can follow along to swap to the other side. Another couple of seconds, one more punch, and then we'll swap. Keep that punching happening now. And then we've got one more lot of exercises to go through before we call it a day. One more. Good. All right. For our final combination, we're going to be doing a moving balance exercise. I need you to do this one next to the wall because we're moving. The chair is not going to quite provide the support that we need. So I'm going to move the chair just so they've got a little bit of space to move. And it's involving a heel-toe walk of sorts, but we're going to add a high knee movement to it. So I'm going to start with my feet heel to toe, or as close as possible. I'm going to bring the leg forward and in line, and shift my weight to the front leg. I'm going to bring it back and shift it to the back leg. I'm then going to bring my front leg back, shift my pressure to my back leg, and bring it back forward and shift my pressure to my front leg. So a little bit to think about with this one. And you'll notice that I'm exaggerating that high arc. Okay. And we're pausing at each of the points here. We're going to be doing 4 of these. Okay, so like walking on a tightrope, but you alter the width of your feet depending on how comfortable you are having the feet close in that heel to toe position. Okay. Good. This is our second last one. It's a bit confusing because there's 4 steps to each repetition, but we'll go for that final round. Good. Okay, you're going to need that can again, or the light weight, and we're going to be doing a press and rotation aimed at the trunk muscles. Now the trunk muscles here are not generating the movement. I want the movement to come from the hips, but the trunk muscles are staying nice and still so that the whole trunk is moving together. So we're going to press forward with the can or the hand weight. We're going to rotate, come back to the middle and bring the weight back in. Okay, we're going to be doing that 6 times to each side. Okay. And we're not going as far as we can. We're going to about halfway around, about 45 degrees from that starting position. Have your feet in a nice, strong, balanced position for this one. We've got 2 more on each side. And last one. Good. Okay, putting the weight down, and for our aerobic exercise for this part, we're going to be doing some duck and punch to each side. You don't have to make it a really big duck. You can just lean with the body, punch. Lean with the body, punch if you have any problems with your knees. All right, we're going to get that started. We're going to be doing that for 40 seconds as per usual. The faster you do it, the more it's going to achieve that goal. So off we go. And only go as far as you feel you can manage from a balance perspective. Remember, we want to feel safe from balance. We want to be able to do it nice and quick so we can get that heart rate up and that breathing up accordingly. Almost there. 5 seconds to go. And good. All right, we've got one more round to finish up with. We're going to start with that balance exercise again. So following along with me, we're going to start heel to toe. We're going to come back with the right, back with the left, back and back with the right. I'm doing it in a slightly different configuration this time, just to confuse everyone. Get those brains working. Good. Okay. Back with the right, back with the left, back with the left, and finally back with the right. Good. And Let's do one more for good measure. Great. Fantastic. So let's do the rotations again. So you're going to need that can or that hand weight, feet side by side, underneath the hips, bracing the trunk muscles, pressing forward, using the hips to rotate halfway, and then coming back in, like so. And we're doing 6 of these on each side. Oh. Good. It's really important that you're making sure that that movement is coming from those hips and not just twisting the back. Good. We've got 2 more to each side. You'll probably feel this one not only working some of those core muscles, but also working those arms, those shoulders. 1 more to each side. Good. And last one. Great. Okay, we're going to be doing those side duck and punches for our final 40 seconds. All right, so getting yourself into position and off we go, punching to the same side that we're ducking towards. And remember, this one's about speed, so it's not about a deep duck or squat. It's more about getting the heart rate up. We've got 15 seconds to go, so time to get all that energy out. Good, and that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed today's session. It's been a combination of different things, but hopefully you've got some good exercise out of it. The legs are feeling like they've had a good workout, as are the arms, and we'll see you soon for another class.